You know, losing a loved one is hard enough, but waiting for closure can really make it more painful. And West Virginia currently has a 240-day backlog of death certificates, and with only a fourth of the full-time medical examiners needed to perform autopsies. The problem is far from going away.
This is a follow-up to a story we first told you about over the summer. A widow turning to social media for help, and a state senator saying something has got to be done. Tonight, in this special report, Daniel Burbank is breaking down why the solution is far more difficult.
Behind these gates are the answers families are waiting to hear. We first introduced you to Jenny Berger, who's from Tennessee, in August.
I was like, people have no idea what this is like. And I'm sure there are people like me going through this who probably feel as alone as I did.
Her husband was in West Virginia on a hunting trip when he died in 2021. More than a year after his death, no answers, no death certificate or cause of death. So she turned to the social media platform TikTok for help.
West Virginia, if you see this, I would love to know what happened to my husband.
Hundreds of families noticing significant wait times getting death certificates in the state. West Virginia is supposed to have 12 medical examiners who perform autopsies, but only has 3. Berger says she waited about 2 years for her husband's cause of death report. We took our concerns to the state's Department of Health and Human Resources Interim Secretary, Dr. Sherry Young. In our exclusive interview, Dr. Young explains they're focusing on attracting candidates.
One of the glaring issues is that it needs help. And so not only do we need help from the staffing side and recruiting more forensic pathologists, we need more space.
During a special session in September, Dr. Young testified to a Senate committee about the status of the state's Department of Health and Human Resources. In those meetings, she says West Virginia still has a 240-day backlog of death certificates. She also said only 17 forensic pathologists graduated throughout the country last year, which is also concerning. Kanawha County State Senator and physician Tom Takubo says he recently toured the medical examiner's office in Charleston to have a better understanding on the situation. Matthew Izzo, the ME's office chief administrator, told him the office is expected to deal with more than 10,000 cases by the end of 2023.
It's already a horrific thing that's happened. You've lost a loved one, but at the same time, now there's all this financial ties that occurs because they can't get any type of closure, both economically or, personally. So it's tough, and that's a tough one, but it's one we got to fix.
Dr. Young adds when someone passes away and needs an autopsy, their body is often returned to the family or funeral director within 1 to 2 days. The part taking 240 days is figuring out the cause of death.
If it's an unattended death where you really have no clue what happened, or if it's a death where somebody has been very badly, unfortunately disfigured and very hard to identify, those things take a long time, and you have to be very diligent to make sure you get the correct information.
There's a reason the path to becoming a medical examiner requires diligence. The first step is completing a 4-year bachelor's program towards forensic pathology. This is arguably the easiest part. Then, in order to be admitted to medical school, a 7.5-hour MCAT, or medical college admission test, must be completed. It tests the science, writing, and foundations of behavior. The applicant then must complete 4 to 5 years of medical school with hands-on experience in hospitals, working with patients supervised by physicians. After a 3-step, nearly 1,000-question exam, then comes a 4-year residency program on clinical and anatomic pathology. The final step is getting board certification. You will have a much larger audience and a much larger candidate pool that's going to see the story at some point, and so now is your time if you'd like to say something to them.
Anybody who's willing to come and take a look and give us a chance, we will make sure that you are treated well, make sure that you are given the opportunity to thrive and serve the community, and we will absolutely support anybody willing to do that.
Senator Takubo says during the next legislative session, he plans to introduce a bill boosting the salary for new medical examiners to the 95th percentile, more than a $30,000 raise, and help pay off student debt over a 10-year period.
The only way you're going to be able to do that is to make a financial package, significant enough that they would be willing to move here.
The National Association of Medical Examiners says it recommends a 90-day response for 90% of its cases. West Virginia does not meet that recommendation. As for Jenny Berger, 2 years after her husband's death, she received his cause of death report.
It's like that little piece gets to be put out of my mind, and the weight that is lifted off.
That was Daniel Burbank reporting. Now, the DHHR has a job listing for a deputy chief medical examiner at $255,000 salary. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner says cases have increased about 135% from 2012 to 2021. A steady rise in overdose deaths plays a role.
We have more great Eyewitness News Investigates right here. Subscribe and hit the bell notification to have the latest uploads delivered straight to you.